Hi, we are Team CryptoBhoomi. Each of us in this team has a personal connect to the problem of land record management. With rampant urbanization, different government departments have their land records out of sync, causing issues for citizens. So we decided to solve this problem using blockchain. Moving on to the problem statement, there is no single truth of land record. Government acquisitions and inheritance issues compound the problem, and also citizens need to do multiple visits to government offices to verify and validate property status. In addition, there are costs of engaging middlemen to interface with government department. Think about the high carbon footprint in each department maintaining their own system and process. At the end of all of this, there is still the potential of litigation. Our proposed solution makes use of blockchain and aims at bringing transparency, traceability, and validation into land record management. It is system citizen centric, brings in transparency, traceability, and validation, provides for real time updates, and importantly, eliminates middlemen. Now, moving on to the demo,
This is the login page where the citizen logs in. So I log in as Hari and role as citizen, and I go on to the page that shows the property details that are under my name. So I have a property 8207 in Anurag Anmol in Kadubesinahalli. It gives the property registration number, area, and there is also a Google map which a pinpoint to the location. And at this point, I've had a conversation with a prospective buyer and we have agreed to take the deal forward. Here, I have decided to trust the buyer and provide the details of provide him the details of the property. And before that, the forest department has logged in and they have had a remark to make on the property. So the forest department logs into this application and they look at this property, and based on their assessment, they come to the conclusion that this is built on disputed forest land. So they enter the comment that this is disputed forest land. Now I go back to my prospective buyer and I've added him to view this property. That's Zahir, who's the prospective buyer, and I have got his contract address. So I add him as a buyer. And at this point, the prospective buyer Zahir gets to see the comment that has been raised by the forest department, which has a red flag which says that this is being built on disputed forest land. There is also comment from the bank which says there's a mortgage on this property. The survey department has raised an all clear. They don't have any objection, and the legal status is also okay. Also, the prospective buyer gets to see the ownership history. He can see the most recent owner, the owner previous to that, and the first owner as well. Now, this gives a single truth of record to a prospective buyer who can now decide whether he wants to go ahead or not. Now, let us take the case where Zahir decides to go ahead and he enters the sale amount that he has decided to pay for this property. So the negotiation between the buyer and seller has happened outside of the scope of this application. He enters the amount, which is 25 lakhs, and says confirm and buy property. At this point, the owner, which is Hari, gets to see that Zahir has indicated willingness to buy, and now I can go to the application and click on confirm sell property. Once that is done, the registrar of the property gets to see the registration amount, he gets to see the buyer, the seller, and it is with him now to progress based on the registration tax and to initiate the registration. So the registrar says the tax for this property is 5,000 rupees and he says initiate transaction. And at this point, it goes back to the buyer, Zahir, and the buyer gets to see that he gets to see the complete status on this particular property. Survey department says, okay, the original remark from the forest department is a disputed forest land. There is also a remark from the bank, which is it's on a mortgage, and he has to pay the registration tax amount of 5,000. For now, this tax payment is outside the scope of the application, but once he's paid the tax, confirmed tax payment, he does that, then it goes back to the registrar's office where the registrar has to now confirm that the registration tax has been paid and then initiate the process of transferring the deed. And at this point, once he's done it, Zahir, who was the prospective buyer, now is the new owner. And as you can see, the ownership history clearly shows the new owner is Zahir. The previous owner is Hari, from whom he bought it, and it gives the complete ownership history. With this, we bring in complete transparency in the record for land management, and also we make use of the immutability capability of the blockchain to make land ownership tamper proof. From here, moving on to the
With this as the basic functionality, we propose to enhance it with multi-buyer and seller support, moving on to mobile app and localization support, integrating with DigiLocker, integration with Aadhaar UIDAI for authentication of buyer and seller, and also support for cryptocurrencies.